Greetings, it's Dr. Bobby Price, your plant-based pharmacist and nutritionist, also author of Vegetation Over Medication. So today I want to talk to you about the 8 signs and symptoms that your detox is working. Now, there's all kind of detoxification programs that you can do. You can do juicing, you can do green smoothie fast. You can also do, intermittent fasting. You can do a water fast. But you also can do herbal detoxing, okay? And specifically what I recommend is doing what I call a herbal detoxification rejuvenation program, which means that you're gonna be doing herbal detoxing while doing some premium nutrition, okay? And essentially what I tell people to do is follow the recommendations in my book in terms of what foods to eat during the detox, okay? But let me sort of give you an idea of what is the difference between doing like a juice fast, a water fast, a green smoothie, or intermittent fasting, those sorts of things. So the example that I tend to give is this. Imagine that you're buying a home, but it's a fixer-upper. It's a home that's dilapidated, that hasn't been taken care of in a while. And so as you buy the home and walk into it, the first thing you're gonna start on is the kitchen, okay? And I always tell people the kitchen is like the gut in our bodies, okay? The cleaner we keep it, the better the body will be in health, okay? But let's say you're walking into the kitchen and you're starting to clean and you have a broom and paper towels. So you have a broom to sweep things up and you have paper towel to wipe things down, okay, with water, okay? Now that is, in my opinion, in many cases, what you're doing when you do, something like a juice fast, something like intermittent fasting, and then something like, maybe even just doing a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, okay? But what you do when you do herbal detoxification in combination with a premium diet like a plant-based vegan diet, what you're doing is you're not only pulling out all of that toxicity, the acidity, the mucus, the heavy metals from your body, but you're also putting all of that nutrition back in your body as well with those, that premium nutritional program, okay? And so essentially what that would be doing if you were to walk into that fixer-upper would be walking in with a mop, a broom, towels, scrub brushes, disinfectant, because with a herbal detoxification program, herbs are capable of pulling toxicity out, not only on the tissue level, but on the organ level and the cellular level, okay? So you're doing a deep cleanse, okay? And so that's why I always tell people, in my opinion, that's the best detox to do, because especially if you're doing a full body detox, don't do a detox where you're just cleaning one organ like the liver, okay? Because if you clean one organ and all of the elimination pathways are clogged up, then where's all the toxicity from the liver gonna go, right? So, but let's talk about what those symptoms that come as a result of doing a detox, okay? And so the symptoms come, or the discomfort comes, because there are so many layers of addiction that you're removing when you're going through a detoxification program, especially a herbal program like mine, or just herbal detoxification in general, okay? And the reason why is because you're not only removing toxicity, but you're removing acidity, you're removing layers of addiction, and those layers of addiction could be sugar, it could be salt, it could be processed foods, it could be cigarettes, so in the form of nicotine, it could be coffee, it could be caffeine, like the layers of addiction that you're removing during a herbal detox. I mean, there's so many layers that you're removing. You have to understand that. Just think about it. If you did one of those, like if you stop smoking cigarettes, like you go through withdrawal symptoms, okay? And those withdrawal symptoms look like nausea and vomiting, irritability, itching, headaches, and the list goes on. And the funny thing is, if you go through my herbal detox, I quite often see people who go through the same things, whether they smoke or not. And it's because those are withdrawal symptoms, and withdrawal symptoms are quite often the same. Like processed food is addictive in its nature because most of the food chemistry that they use during making processed food is to make you addicted to the food. Okay, people have heard of things like MSG, but they don't know that MSG, or monosodium glutamate, is a neurotoxin that makes you addicted to the food. It makes you want to eat more. It basically eliminates your appetite to the point where you actually can never be satiated. It makes you eat and eat and eat. Okay, so you're removing all of these layers of toxicity, and you have to understand that withdrawal symptoms would come if you stop drinking coffee by itself. Withdrawal symptoms would come if you stop smoking cigarettes by itself. Withdrawal symptoms would come if you stop eating sugar by itself. Now, just imagine you're going through a herbal detox, and not only are you abstaining from eating these things, now you're pulling out these things from your tissues on a cellular level. So you can understand why the first 3 or 4 days could be difficult. And it's just that the first 3 or 4 days are the most difficult, okay? And I always tell people, if you can get over that hump, like the first 3 or 4 days, then most people are fine. And then most people are fine because what happens is, as you transition, into detoxification that first day, and your body has all of this toxicity pouring out of the tissues into the blood to be eliminated from all of the elimination pathways, through the skin, through the kidneys, through the colon, through the liver, through the breath, because you actually exhale out toxicity as well. So through the lymphatic system, all of these ways of getting rid of toxicity, that middle ground or period between toxicity being entered in the blood to be eliminated and before it's eliminated, that middle ground is where you're going to have most of those symptoms. So keep that in mind as you kind of navigate a detox, okay? But understand this, detoxification symptoms means that the detox is working, okay? It's the equivalent, and I always say this to people, like, I would always see when people were coming to the hospital, they would have an infection. One of the silliest things that we do in traditional medicine is they come in, they have an infection, they get a fever, and we do what? We give them something to reduce the fever. When the fever is actually part of the healing. The fever tells us that the body is fighting the infection. And the other thing that's really great about the fever is as it increases the core temperature, many bacteria and viruses can't survive that increased core temperature. You understand? So the body is actually raising the core temperature in response to the infection to help kill it. So it's part of the solution, not part of the problem. It's the same thing when you're detoxing. A lot of the symptoms that you're experiencing is part of the solution. It's part of eliminating through the body. As a result, think about it like this. Like quite often people get nauseated, which is the first sign or symptom that you experience. People get nauseated, and sometimes people even vomit during a detox, okay? Again, the first 3 or 4 days. This doesn't happen often, but it can happen. But this is why you have to understand that vomiting could be a way that the body could eliminate waste. And as you go through a detox, specifically like my detoxes, the herbs are very bitter. I won't lie to you, they don't taste good at all. And that bitterness is the result of having a lot of minerals and electrolytes in there. It's the minerals that increase the pH and make it very alkaline, okay? And alkaline things taste very bitter, okay? Now, most people are used to eating things that are very sweet, so they're not used to using that taste bud, okay? So when you bring anything or introduce anything to the body, whether it's normal and it should be there, if you haven't been doing it for a long time, it's gonna make you uncomfortable. And a lot of times those bitter herbs will remove mucus from the lining of the stomach. All of that mucus is in the stomach and make them nauseous, and sometimes they will vomit. But guess what? They get rid of the mucus, okay? So it can be part of the solution. So that's number one. The first sign you can know that the detox is working. You're, feeling a little bit nauseated, maybe even vomiting a little bit. The second sign could be that you have strong body odor, okay? And you have to understand that, like when you're doing a full body detox, it should clean your digestive tract all the way from your tongue to your anus, all the way through. I mean, everything. It should clean your tongue, your stomach, your small intestine, large intestine. It should even clean some of the surrounding organs like the pancreas, okay? That's really important, okay? And if you're eliminating from the tongue, just think about it. When people wake up in the morning, some people breath doesn't smell good. And the reason why it doesn't smell good is because guess what? The tongue is an elimination, part of the elimination process, meaning you're eliminating toxicity through your tongue in many cases for a lot of people. And some people, that toxicity doesn't smell very good. So it's the same thing when you have body odor. A lot of the toxicity that you're eliminating through the body, from the body, is in the gut. And people have between 10 and 25 pounds of undigested food in their gut. Okay, just sitting there. I mean, people have it sitting there for weeks, months, even years in some cases. And so that food has rotted and fermented, okay? And so once you start finally eliminating it, okay, it's not gonna smell very good. But you have to remember, a lot of people have between 10 and 25 pounds of undigested food in their gut, which is why they have the belly, okay? So once you start to eliminate it, all of it doesn't eliminate through the colon. Some of that toxicity can be eliminated through the skin. And that's what gives the body odor in the first couple of days. So that's number 2. All right. Number 3 could be swollen lymph nodes. And I had somebody actually experience this during one of my group detoxes. A lymph node in their neck got really swollen and really big. Okay. I've also had people have lymph nodes in their groin, even in their elbows get kind of swollen. Okay. But what's really important to understand about that, and see, that's the important thing, having understanding, like, what is the lymph node? The lymph node is part of the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is essentially the sewage system in the body to get rid of acidity, to get rid of toxicity, to also get rid of infection. Okay, so the body may have a low-grade infection that you don't even recognize because you might not have a fever, but you may have a bacteria in the body. You may have a virus in the body that you don't recognize, but the lymphatic system will find it, collect it, and segregate it from the body. And then it will take it to lymph nodes, okay, to be processed and, eliminated from the body. But inside of that lymph node, your body is mounting an immune response. So in the mix of mounting that response, it creates inflammation, which makes it swell, okay? And that also makes it tender, okay? But eventually, once that virus and bacteria is, eliminated, white blood cells come in, kick the butt, and then it's out of there, okay? So your lymph nodes being swollen is a sign that your immune system is working, which is a good thing. That's part of detoxification, not only to get rid of, toxicity from the body, heavy metals, acidity, mucus, those type of things, but it's also there to get rid of infection and bacteria and viruses out of the body too, okay? So that's number 3. Number 4 could be gas and bloating. You have to understand, especially if you're doing a detox like mine, where you're doing herbal detoxing in combination with a plant-based vegan lifestyle. So no meat, milk, no dairy, no processed foods. Okay, when you're doing that, you're introducing, for many people, a lot of additional fiber that you're not used to getting in your diet. And that additional fiber, although it's good, your bacteria in your gut may not be used to it. Okay, and consider the fact that even though you're introducing good food to the body, there's also that 10 to 25 pounds of undigested food that had just been sitting there. So that good food is now trying to push against all of that impacted food or waste that has been there. So that can create additional gas and bloating. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5 could be a change in bowel movements. And it makes sense from what I just mentioned. You're introducing more fiber to the diet. You're also introducing more water to the diet because fruits and vegetables have water in it. And how do I know that? Because you can juice them, okay? But in addition to that, the herbs, if you're doing your herbal detox, will have herbs in them that move the bowels, okay? So it's gonna change your bowels. I meet people who commonly have bowel movements every 3 days, some people once a week. So you can literally go from having a bowel movement every 3 days or 1 to 3 days to 1 to 3 bowel movements in a day. Okay, so be prepared for that. Also be prepared for soft or loose stools, because again, you have 10 to 25 pounds of undigested food in your gut. So all of it isn't going to come out in this solid form, all at once. So, and considering that you're using herbs in this case, the herbs act in many cases like a mild diuretic. They also help the stomach increase peristalsis, which is movement in the bowels. Okay, so you could have loose stools. That's not a sign for caution. It's just a sign that the detox is working. Okay, so that's number 5. And then you also can experience mood swings. Okay, and you have to understand, like, experiencing mood swings, because it could be things like sugar. Okay, sugar, which is a neurotoxin. Things like MSG, which again I said is a neurotoxin. Nicotine, things of that nature. Things that can cross the brain-blood barrier and affect the mood, that are now being pulled out and put into the blood. Okay, those things could affect the mood and change your mood, so you can become very irritable during the first 3 to 4 days. Okay, which leads to the next one, or the 7th, is headaches. People commonly get headaches because, again, you're pulling all of this toxicity. I'm talking about decades of toxicity out of the tissues, out of the cells, into the blood to be eliminated. But in that path between elimination and removal, it's in the blood. And during that time, it could cause, a headache as a result of that. So keep that in mind. But it's usually a dull headache. It's not one of these crashing headaches that send you home from work. And then the last thing I'll say, it can cause fatigue. And I always tell people, when you're doing herbal detoxing, the first 3 or 4 days, people always ask me, can I work out during the herbal detox? And I always tell them, yes, you can, but if you feel fatigue, rest. Because guess what? While you're resting and you're getting sleep, the great thing is that while you're asleep, your body is going through this healing process. It's rejuvenating, but it's also the time when our bodies will burn fat. Okay, so a lot of times people are worried about going to the gym because they like, I need to burn these calories off. But at the end of the day, if you're doing an herbal detox and you're resting while doing that herbal detox, it's doing the work for you that you would have done at the gym. Okay. And I think a bonus sign that the detox is working is that as you start to navigate on the other side of the symptoms, you will experience, an increase in energy, an increase in libido, which make your partner happy if you have one. You will experience an increase in sleep, so you will sleep better. And in many cases, you won't have to sleep as long, and you will wake up feeling refreshed. So instead of having 8 or 9 hours of sleep, you may be able to sleep for 5 or 6 hours and wake up feeling fully rejuvenated. I've had times when I've been on a herbal detox and I would wake up literally at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, I could literally wake up and throw my track shoes on and go out running immediately. So you'll experience that. You will feel lighter, which is something I really can't explain. It's not like a lighter as in weight loss, although you will experience weight loss, but it's a lighter like emotionally, spiritually. And you will also experience new taste buds. A lot of the things that you liked before, they will not taste the same anymore, which is a good thing, because you don't want to be going back to eating the foods that were not nourishing in the first place and toxic in the second place, which caused you to be in the position where you were experiencing the symptoms in the first place. So, you'll experience some new taste buds, or your default set taste buds, that allow you to actually like fruits and vegetables like you should. And the other thing that I'll notice is that the whites of your eyes get even whiter. You also notice that, and the skin improves. Like, the skin, looks more supple, younger, and more vibrant. So there's all types of great improvements that you can sort of see as a result of doing the detox. But essentially what a detox is on the other side, when you're experiencing all the benefits, is your body in its premium condition, meaning minus the toxicity, minus the acidity, minus the mucus, minus the heavy metals. And now your body can actually function optimally, because our bodies are designed to heal themselves, rejuvenate themselves. I mean, you can lose a great portion of your liver and still regenerate your liver, okay? That just shows you the healing power of the body. So, but we have to have a clean body to be able to do that. So, and all of those symptoms that you experience when you go through the initial phases of the detox are part of that process. So you have to trust the process, okay? And what I also say is what you can do to alleviate a lot of those symptoms that are a sign that the detox is working is make sure you drink additional water. You have to understand that, you know, if you're doing a herbal detox in combination with a plant-based lifestyle and eating plant-based foods, which means you're increase in fiber, increase in nutrient density, you have to understand that you're going to have more bowel movements, which means you're eliminating water. You're going to have more urination, which means you're eliminating water. You're going to sweat more, which means you're eliminating water. So even though you may be drinking the herbal teas and you may be drinking 64 ounces in a day, most of that you're going to eliminate. So you have to drink additional water, okay? If you don't drink an additional water, you may experience stomach cramps, headaches, nausea, those type of things. It could be your body screaming for more water. I would also recommend, if you do have nausea, drink ginger tea. Just slice up a couple of slices of ginger root, throw it in some warm or hot water, and drink that ginger tea, and it'll help with the nausea as well. Walking, yoga, meditation, rest, like I said before, and making sure you eat clean. A lot of times people will do a herbal detox, and instead of eating straight plant-based fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, they will eat a lot of products out of box, cans, bags, things of that nature, which means that it's processed food in many cases. So I highly recommend sticking to the trees, bushes, and the ground in terms of eating food, because those are going to be the most clean foods, which is going to make the process that much more smoother for you. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. It's a little bit longer than I expected, but if you enjoyed the video, please like below, please subscribe. There's more content that'll be coming. And the more you guys like and subscribe and comment and let me know what you guys want to hear more of, I'll talk about those topics. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Until the next time, peace and blessings and Godspeed.